Can I say something briefly? Sorry.
I'm sorry. Let me make my rebuttal first. You will. Now,
let Ben go and then Badmus will go.
Now, the first rebuttal is on the issue of dialysis I spoke about earlier, and he said that at least Lagos State government has 2 dialysis machines. And when
In
he said
Bagada.
at Bagada, it sounded like somebody who is just hell-bent on just speaking.
No, you're putting the blame on the federal government. You're putting the blame on the federal government.
It just sounded like somebody who,
I said it is a state-owned general
not
hospital.
interested in the fact. He just wants to defend. I'm going somewhere. He just wants to defend the government. Now, the fact on the ground with
by setting the record straight.
Wait,
hold on. You didn't set the record straight.
Bagada is a state-owned general hospital. Blaming Tinubu. Blaming the federal government for Bagada.
Let me conclude. You did set the record straight. Now, when I spoke about those dialysis issue, the dialysis issue at Bagada, it pervades beyond Bagada. But the truth is that the dialysis center at Bagada is not even owned by the government. It is owned by First Bank. You can go there. You will see it's First Bank donated dialysis center. It's a small cubicle. 4 machines, 2 broken down, only 2 working. And that center was donated, I think, around 1994 or 96 thereabout.
In any case, two machines is even
those 2 machines.
Small
now the system itself called Bagada General Hospital will now recommend an Indian private practice to you to go to, where you now spend 80,000 to 100,000 per dialysis. Now, these are the systems we are defending. If Peter Obi has done
Peter Obi do better in Anambra, that's the question I'm asking.
No, wait.
I'm going somewhere.
You will have your floor. You will have your time.
Yeah. If Peter Obi has done the same thing in his state, my brother, I will call him out. I supported Buhari, and it took me 6 months to stop supporting Buhari. But this, my friend here, supported Buhari to the last.
Me?
I'm not continue with this new one.
Are you talking about me?
Let me debunk him
again.
Wait,
Ben, that's a lie. We had that discussion. I told you, you have lost it by supporting Buhari. I've never supported Buhari in my life. I supported Lord Jonathan. Everybody knows that. And we had that discussion in Okoko. And when you were talking about change, I remember I told you, this man means no change, because judging by his precedents, it doesn't mean well. He doesn't understand the economy. And the same way you are blindly following Peter Obi, it's the same way you blindly follow Buhari because of the noise.
For credibility.
Because of the noise.
That was why I supported
another lie. How can you say I follow Buhari? I've never supported Buhari in my life. I've never supported Buhari in my life, and you know that. I told you Goodluck Jonathan was my candidate.
I want to debunk one more thing.
But you're telling a lot of lies, Ben.
No, I want to debunk one more thing.
Okay,
when I spoke about
decorum.
Anybody that knows Kayode Badmus has never been a fan of Buhari. Never.
Kayode, you will have your time to respond.
I want to debunk one more thing that you spoke about. When I spoke about Argentina, you said Argentina's government is in disaster. But these are the facts here. Under Xavier Milei, monthly inflation has fallen dramatically from catastrophic highs, over 20% in December 2020, down to approximately 2%. Fiscal policy, the government successfully balanced the budget, achieving and maintaining its first sustained fiscal surpluses in many years to cut deficits. State bureaucracy, red tape, and government ministries have been radically downsized to restore market incentives and property rights. These are just poverty, all those things has reduced. So many things. These are just some of the few stuff that somebody who had just spent 3 years in power had done. And how did he achieve this? By cutting cost of governance, by leading a very lean and pro-people governance. That is not much for us to ask for. And let me go to BJ. I understand BJ's point about some of the things he's spoken about, but I can feel and sense that he is more on the side of the APC government. I don't have a problem with that. But what I have a problem is just outrightly castigating the few people who have come out to stand in opposition to Buhari, to the APC. Atiku, I'm not a fan of. Obi, I am supporting because that is the only option that we see right now. I'm not saying it's a saint or it's perfect. I will never say that. But at least if you put Obi and Tinubu in the same sentences. They are two different people. Tinubu has to speak. As Tinubu has to speak today, has his teeth, his hands in the Lagos State coffers, is earning pension from the Lagos State government. Obi is not earning pension.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie, Ben. That's a lie.
Okay.
See, the first governor to institute an elaborate pension for himself, for his state, was
he said as at today. And I'm telling you that's a lie, as at now.
No, now that he's president,
Ben, can you wrap up your point? Can you wrap up your point in a few minutes?
He continues receiving that money.
Respond directly. Wrap up your points in a few minutes and let Badmus respond directly.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that there is also to debunk something again when I spoke about the Agberoism and stuff. Yeah, we had motor parks in Lagos State. We had the road transport, routine and national. These people had been existing, but they were not existing as we have it. These guys were inside parks, organizing processes for buses to move. I remember Obalende Park as a little boy in Obalende, Lagos Island Park and all those stuff. You see them inside the park. They had this small building that they built, small shed that they built there, and the drivers themselves are the one coordinating the process. The drivers, not people that don't own buses, not people that don't drive buses, that now coordinate a system where they stop people on buses on the road and collect money with no reason, no use, no value.
Okay.
All for those monies to be put together and be sent to one man. And then you said that was not created by Tinubu, that it has been there before.
Question.
I don't know when you were born, but I was born in the 80s, and I remember how we run Lagos in the 80s, and I know that was not there before Tinubu came in 1999.
Okay. Badmus, you have it.
There are a couple of things I want to. Argentina, I'll come back to Argentina later. Again, on the Agbero issue you mentioned, it has always been like that. Again, Ben, there's Agbero, the guys have always been larger than life. However, the semblance of sanity that came in the time of the military. Soldiers kept these guys in the park. And what soldiers can do, the civilian government cannot do. And I'm telling you now, as a matter of fact, whatever whatever menace Agberos have caused in Lagos is not up to 50% what they have done in a state like Oyo State. Tinubu has never been governor or leader in Oyo State. The menace of Agberos in Oyo State has been so much, they've killed themselves, they even decide who the governor will be, who, whatever. And, well, as long as you can trace that to even Adedibu, he started way before him. You trace it to people like Penkelemes and stuff. And if you say it's been a major problem in the Southwest, I may agree with you. However, as I am talking to you, the issue of Agbero is even worse in the East. If you go to Onitsha, and the sad part is they've institutionalized it. Onitsha, Aba, and all these things. You will collect ticket every what's it called? Every 1 mile tickets, and the government has nothing to do with these things. It is still the Agbero system. It isn't peculiar to Lagos. However, whatever happens in Lagos, there's always this noise of, oh, this and that. Worst things are happening everywhere. It's a Nigerian situation. And narrowing it down to Tinubu is actually nothing but malice. Now, I saw on touchdown Bagada, but I'll come back to it. I'll quickly talk. I want to give a quick history, political history, because this is supposed to be a political discourse. I didn't even plan talking about achievement or not. Whatever ADC, NDC, Peter Obi, Atiku, Rufai, whatever they are facing right now, or they faced in the past few months, Tinubu faced worse. And I'll take you back to 2003. Now, on the road to 2003, Tinubu was one of the AD governors in the Southwest. There were 6 of them. And because in 1999, they had tried Olufalaye in a pact with APP that failed. In 2003, the Yorubas decided they won't bring anybody forward again. They want Obasanjo to go for a second term. And they wanted to go as a front to, as a front runner to support Obasanjo. And after that agreement, all the others said, oh, okay, we are all out. And Tinubu warned them, say, Obasanjo is not trustworthy. We have to be careful in going to bed with this man. But they all went there, put all their bags, and they're telling their people, vote PDP today, vote AD, Egbe Onirawo next week and everything. But you know what? All those guys lost their state, and only Tinubu survived. Now, that's 2003. Oshoba in Ogun State, Adefarasi in Ondo, Adeni in Ekiti, Oshun, Bisi Akonde in Oshun. What have I not mentioned? 5 of them. Only Tinubu survived after 6. Moving forward,
Adebayo in
moving forward, Ni Adebayo.
Yeah.
Then Oyo State was
Lam Adesina.
Lam Adesina. Ladoja was a PDP boy. PDP, it was a tsunami. Moving forward, Tinubu was left by himself, and rather than they rallying around him, Obasanjo, through Afenifere, people like may God rest his soul, this Pa Dokun, they tried pushing Tinubu out. What did he do? He did not lament. He did not play the victim. He did not say, see, the federal government is trying to do this and that. He built. So what did Tinubu do? Tinubu left AD and Afenifere, because as at then, Tinubu has said, Baba Bisi Akonde, let's build this party. Let Bisi Akonde be the national chairman of AD, and we will build. But Afenifere, the saboteurs in Afenifere through Obasanjo, brought in Senator Moji Akinfenwa as the chairman, and they got a court injunction. Say Akinfenwa is the chairman, not Bisi Akonde. Same thing that happened in ADC. Tinubu did not lament. He wasn't crying on national TV to say Obasanjo wants his life. He left. He started AC. That was what gave birth to the birth of AC. Tinubu was practically thrown out of AD. He now took his people, took them to AC. AC is what led to ACN, which was what one of the major forces that formed the APC. Today, APC has ACN as one of its strongest forces.
Okay.
And they are still in party.
So
now,
what
I'm saying, sorry, I want to say, I want to
when Obi and other people move to
after the 2023 election, I'm not a fan of Peter Obi. I'm not a fan of Peter Obi. However, the Obidient movement was a force. Ben was attacked in Lagos during the election. I reached out to him to, ask him what happened, told him to be careful and stuff. He's my friend. Party differences or political differences wouldn't, come between us. I tried to, what's it called? Support him in my only 2 way to ask him what, But what I'm saying is, Obidient had every reason to start a new political party. They had the structure already, because these were people who had said they don't have any structure. But they showed us that they have structure, and they are built, because there are a lot of young people, new political, enthusiasts that wanted to be a part of. What Obi should have done was build a new political party, not rigmarole about. Now, he started moving. He couldn't solve the problems, the crisis in Labour Party. They said Apapa was a saboteur. Later, they said, what's the chairman? That guy that we asked about is a problem. Everybody was the problem except Peter Obi. But he couldn't solve that problem.
Okay.
Now, he left Labour, went to ADC. Oh, the same thing that happened in Labour was happening in ADC. Today he's in NDC. Let me tell you, the information is NDC was built by Seriake Dixon. I've worked with him before. I don't know if you remember that in Bayelsa while he was governor. Seriake Dixon does not have as much political clout as Peter Obi. But he started that party last year. He built that party. Today, Obi has gone there to be under him. He is the national leader. Obi has very little to say. If Obi becomes the Dixon, let's imagine Kwakwaso was not even in the picture. Seriake Dixon would have been the one to choose the vice president. So what I'm saying is, this man does not even understand what he's doing. He's not that brilliant as you guys, try to paint him.
Okay.
He doesn't know how to build a political system.
Can I quickly respond to you? Okay. Let me just say this, my brother.
Wait, Ben. Let me hold your thoughts there for 1 second. Let me switch it back to Banji. I think we've digressed a bit and we've made it personal between Tinubu and Obi, which is essentially not why.
Unfortunately, you can't run away from that.
I agree. So while I just want to, tweak it a little bit. Banji, I want to ask you, this alliance of NDC, Peter Obi, and Kwankwaso specifically, with NDC, are there any legal issues or any potential legal issues that can arise from that party creation? That's number one. Number two, do they stand a chance organically to fight the APC? Over to you, BJ, for a few minutes, and then we can get it back to Ben.
All right, thank you very much. Well, there are no legal impediments that I know of as we speak.
There is, Banji.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, BJ,
So,
what did you say?
I said, well, I don't know of any serious legal impediments. as
Someone
we
is fighting the license, you know. Someone is fighting the license they got that, and it was before Peter Obi got there. There's this other guy that applied for a license, and he said he got all the requirements INEC wanted. They didn't give him the license for the party. Now they've given Peter Obi, and they're giving NDC. Now,
So, no, I
this
think
was
these
an
are
issue
not
that
even- I
started
think
before
that
we
might not be
went there.
serious. I think that might not even be serious issues.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
affect
it's
the
a-
party. The issue is the party is registered, is known to law, except there are other internal crises that will crop up, whichever ways. I'm not